There was a point in my life where everything felt blah, vanilla, unexciting, and I realized the solutions weren't going to come from faking it till I made it, or doing more smarter, or doing better. That the true solutions were going to come from going within my own mind, that my authentic path was leading me within. I spent most of my adult life coaching, movement, fitness, health, and a large portion of that time was primarily focused on the physical. I reached a plateau in my own physical health, and I was also seeing that with my clients as well. And it wasn't until I really started to explore the concept of mind over matter, where I really began to evolve as a person and as a coach. When I only focused on my physical life, I was continuously humbled by the challenges that I was facing. And it was all directing me towards more awareness of my inner mindset, what was going on in my own mind, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, and where that was leading me to take action in my external reality. But what I didn't have was a framework for understanding how the mind actually works. I learned a lot from a psychology standpoint, a meditation standpoint, like all of these things, components of the mind, the brain. No one ever taught me the laws of the inner world, only how to perform in both the inner and the outer world. Like, do this, do this, do this. But I didn't have this grounded, solid base to build from. I want to share this quote from ancient Neoplatonist philosopher called Plotinus. We can live in eternity or urgency. To live in eternity is to live according to laws, to live with principles that do not change. I see this emergency and urgency in men all the time because it was something that I had lived through in my own life. It mirrored my own life. Being taught as a man to compete, to be number one, no matter the cost, self-sacrifice, performing, and all for other people, right? But I wasn't really taught the true power of how my thoughts and the emotions around those thoughts shaped my reality. Like how emotions unexpressed can create illness, can create disease. Repressing anything, pushing it down, will lead to it eventually coming up in some way, right? Physical illness. So when we find ourselves as men caught in the hamster wheel of repeating patterns, of coping mechanisms, struggling in relationships, we have to catch ourselves not to blame ourselves, fight against ourselves, and then usually that will lead to blaming others, not taking responsibility. But by understanding these inner laws and principles, we find ourselves more in control of what once was uncontrollable. My discovery of the Hermetic Principles changed my life from one of urgency to one of eternity. And the Hermetic Principles aren't beliefs, it's not a religious faith, but they're observations. They're descriptions of how reality and the universe actually function, internally and externally. And when I came to understand these principles on a deeper level and in a practical way, I felt more aligned, more at peace, more in control of my life. They taught me the power of responsibility without shame and without blame. Moving forward, I aim to share more on these principles through the lens of men's lived experience, to give practical guidance for the modern man living the modern life. So if you're a man who feels stuck in a loop, if you desire depth with grounding, welcome. Authentic Alpha is about living a life of purpose through principles. so we can embody more focus, more clarity, and more integrity in our lives.